Hi.
Hello.
Hello. Do your thing, please, before we just to bring us in here into the energy.
Okay. All right.
That's beautiful. Oh.
Frequency.
Frequency, vibration, energy. And welcome everybody and welcome my beautiful co-host Corinne Mooney, all the way from Arizona, and me also today. I'm coming live from Greece. Today we have Wednesday, April 16th. And you are watching the Cosmic Sis-Stars show with Anne and Corinne. And we will talk about, guess what? Energy, vibrations within, unveiling the impact of energy. And we are frequency and energy, and we resonate to it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Our last show on Cosmic Guardians was last week, Wednesday, April 9th, and we talked about authenticity meets compliance. That was kind of a juicy one. I
Oh
love
yeah.
that topic, to be
That
honest.
was, yeah.
And we do our best to stream. We had a little bit of a couple of weeks of hiccups, but now we're out of Mercury retrograde. How wonderful is that? Yay! Celebration. So I think we are good because last week we actually streamed on Facebook. But I'm going to share a link if there will be any kind of hiccup so everybody can go and see on YouTube. Continue there. And you can connect with us, find upcoming shows, past episodes, articles, Corrine, myself, a lot of other stuff at angelplaceonearth.com/cosmic guardians. And you find episodes upcoming and past at angelplaceonearth.com/upcoming dash past. And we always go live at Cosmic Guardians page on Facebook and on YouTube. So youtube.com/at angelplaceonearth/streams. Okay. So a
Yes.
lot of things to state. Well, I'm very eager to dive directly into today's topic, energy, vibrations, frequencies.
Well, I'm going to bring another vibration into my singing bowl. Okay. Here we go.
Oh, that's wonderful. I actually have a crystal pyramid. It's not here. Otherwise, I would have shown it. But it's a pyramid kind of this size from crystal with the edges. It's not filled, and you can use it to have sound, frequency, and vibration.
Wow. Well,
That's another.
we live on frequency and vibration, and what what I was doing with the bowls, bringing up the vibration. They're vibrating. And as they do that, it changes the frequency. For instance, the singing bowl I have is exactly 444 hertz, and that's healing. You can use it, and it helps heal the body because we are vibration, we are energy, and when we allow our minds to move into this realm of reality, the one of frequency and vibration, we are just right next to creation. Because even in the good book, it says, in the beginning was the word. Sound. Our words create our world around us. And we've talked about this before, where what we think and what we say is what's going to create what's in our way. So, you know, this is magic.
Yeah, it is magic. And we talked about, sorry, it is my turn. We have problem here too. So I'm lucky, right?
Yes.
Um, we talked about the water guy. I call him that. It's
Yep.
Masaru Emoto, water crystals. So if one considers that we are contained by a lot of water and other liquid, but water, right? I think
Hmm.
a grown up person, 60, 70%.
Yep.
It changes a little bit. I think babies have more than we have as adults. And because water resonates to frequency, energy, and vibration, of course we're going to resonate.
Hmm. Yeah. And speaking of water, how important it is to our body, we can go without food for vast amounts of time, but we cannot go without water. And as he said, the vibrations that we create by saying words that are going to affect our body, it affects our emotions, and then it affects everyone around us. So when we were talking about being impeccable with your speech, this is this is almost basic, because we are vibration and light. And once the scientists, through quantum physics, reduced the molecules and reduced everything, they go, oh, wow, we're just vibration and light. And we're going, you're describing the light soul. You're describing what we are. So I'm going, no, duh.
Yeah. And I think we are progressing. We are certainly living in interesting times because we are understanding more and more, and we are way, no, I rephrase that. We have more abilities than we actually think we have because we have been raised and taught certain things, right? And we
Yes.
need to expand beyond those to come into realization and how we do actually um, respond to energy and frequency and vibration. When I don't do that kind of clearing all the time at home, but sometimes I go into the corners. I have a little bell, so I'm ringing it because it's
Uh-huh.
a sound to stirring around all the energies,
Hmm.
specifically at places where we don't go so often, right? Because energy can also get a little bit stagnant in certain places. And I
Yes.
think that is also when we are um, stepping into fear as people. And this is my idea only. It just came right now. So
Ah,
I think something is telling me. So when we are stagnant, that is also something that needs to be moved around energetically for us, right?
very much so.
So we can heal.
And that stagnation in our body comes and it forms diseases. That basically is what disease is a
Yes.
stagnation of the energy, and breaking
Yeah.
the flow of energy, the qing and the yin and the yang, the balance. And the traditional um, cultures that still understand how valuable and important vibration is, the Buddhist monks, I mean the Tibetan monks, and with their sound, and they can literally make three sounds at one time. But that when they're going om, and then they're doing the chanting and they're doing the singing bowls, that is creating a change in the energy. The Aborigines, when they heal somebody, they stand over them and make sounds. And I had the opportunity to go to a seminar where this woman had created a machine, and her philosophy, which is ancient philosophy, that every organ vibrates on a different frequency. So if you set this machine to play what is missing, then that will, you know, help you heal.
Yeah.
And this is what they've been doing for billions of years. We're just finally catching up with science.
Exactly. And something else interesting when we're talking, because of, obviously energy, frequency, and vibration is connected to healing, right? And there is a method you can use tuning forks because they give off, you set them in motion and you place them on your body.
Correct.
Different sizes, different frequency, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it resonates and you can sense it in the body. And some people are more sensitive to picking up even at a distance sometimes.
Yes.
I can admit that I'm very, it's like, for me, it comes like almost a hearing and a sensation in the body, even in concrete buildings, because vibrations travel in those buildings, right?
Yes.
And even if when I'm in Sweden on the sixth floor, I can sense something on the first floor.
Mhm.
So it's really weird, but it's not weird in reality because we are picking up frequencies and energies.
And that is the beauty of the human, but we've been taught that that is wrong, or it's voodoo, or it's all of this other thing. So many of our senses have been swiped away from us because of fear and control, and understanding the power that we have within our own selves. This is it's amazing. And these little bowls that I was using here, you can get a whole set of them where they actually set them on the body to use like a tuning fork. Tuning forks are a little
Yeah,
easier to use, but it's the same principle of bringing back and opening up that blockage, that fear and anger and disappointment, and all of these emotions will create in our body.
exactly. And something else, I can't hold myself. We're going to do a show about that. Before we went on air here, we talked about chaos because when we are wanting to make changes, we are setting intentions, we are maybe taking small action steps, and the energy starts moving around and we feel like, what happened now? Everything is chaotic, right?
Exactly. Exactly.
But it
it
has to be.
it
It
has to
has to
be
be.
to move it. If you've got uh, a blockage that you're trying to move a rock, you can't lift that rock, but you have to cause chaos. You have to break the rock, and then there's a mess that you have to clean up. But in that mess is a process of also cleaning out a lot of other things. So yeah, gotta have it. There's the yin and the yang again.
Yeah. Because, you could say that when we are, for instance, wanting to heal something or we want to change something, what we actually do is we want to change all the energy, right? So it has to be stirred around and move around for
Correct.
us to see some things. And they talk about a healing process, and nothing is ever written in stone, but they mention 21 days and or 3 weeks as
Mhm.
something measurable. Sometimes it takes less, sometimes it takes longer. Certain processes, if you work with yourself, they're going to take way longer. So now
Yes.
we're going talking just about a small, tiny time frame, right? But during that healing period, for instance, when one gets initiated to Reiki, the teacher talks about 3 weeks, right? 21 days for the
Mhm.
energy to settle. It is
Yes.
basically the same thing, right?
Correct. Correct. And it's interesting and also frustrating that the thought just went out of my brain. But we're talking about chaos and the healing process. Thank you. Thank
Yes.
you. I finally got it back. People don't understand. They'll start getting better on doing what they're doing as far as healing the body. And then they will get bad again. And they think, oh my gosh, I'm going back into I'm starting over. What you're doing is you are now at the place where the illness started, and you're breaking that up, which is making you really feel miserable. But it is only in breaking that congestion that you can
Yes,
start now flowing the energy.
exactly. Because otherwise, you will keep building on that energy that is stuck, the illness
Yes,
or whatever it is that is stuck, right?
yes,
So it has to break, and when it breaks, um, I usually say to people that you can expect that sometimes it can feel chaotic, but that is okay. Don't fear that.
yes,
That is actually a blessing. It's a sign that what you're doing is working.
very much so. And we did a show on how people will sometimes go back to the familiar, and it is at that critical, chaotic time when people don't understand that if they just allow the energy to heal and clean, that they'll get past that point. And that's when they sometimes retreat and say, oh, this isn't working, and then go back to a familiar pattern. And the beauty about frequency is that it still wants to flow. And if you give it the opportunity, it's amazing what you can do. I mean, even with manifesting money, what are you really vibrating? Are you vibrating, oh, well, I've got to be careful, oh, this and this? Or are you vibrating? It's just there. Our vibrations, our frequencies. We are energy, and energy is what makes the world go round.
E- Exactly. And for instance, many people say that, okay, well, I don't really know, I don't really believe that because that's something I can't touch, right? But on another note, most people, if you stay 5, 10 meters away from them and they have their back towards you and you look at them, they will sense it.
Absolutely.
That's
Absolutely.
how sensitive we are, every one of us.
Yes. And it's it has been disregarded that it was coincidence or other types of things, but you can tell your body alerts you when things are happening. And the beauty about energy is on a global, not global, but in the nation, when we were having horrific hurricanes that were just coming boom 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 boom, and the people in Florida knew this 5 pointer or whatever they call hurricanes was getting ready to hit, and literally they had the forethought to send out SOSs on their Facebooks. Please, and they used the phrase, please send energy to the hurricane. Please help the energy lose some of the energy. They were using the word all the time, even though they didn't understand it. And people responded. And you don't destroy the hurricane. What you do is you send in energy that will allow it to find its balance. And
Yes.
miraculously, it didn't come in as a 5, it came in as a 3. And
Wow.
the people that were there that had the forethought to write this and ask for it knew it. And they actually wrote things on their Facebook. We felt the energy change.
Yeah.
Now, this is what we're supposed to be doing as Homo sapiens. We're supposed to be feeling the energy. We're supposed to be able to work with the energy. And everything that we've been talking about for the last year is helping us get back to being that sensitive receiver
Yeah.
and transmitter.
Yes. Because when we, now I'm coming back to things we have been talking a lot about, right? So
Yes,
when we step into fear, fear will block us to receive and also to radiate an
exactly.
energy that's going to be positive for something, right? So it's
Yes,
holding us back.
yes. And we fall into fear because there again, it is more familiar than good stuff. People will will go to the bad stuff that's reported on television, and then the good stuff they just kind of flit away from, because we've been trained that this is, oh, you got to be this way in order to get things done. No, fear does not create, it dominates, it suffocates. And we got to write those things down because those are pretty good catchphrases. I when spirit speaks through me, and it gives me all of these wonderful things, and I don't have a, I can't jot them down real quick, and I'm, oh boy, that was really cool. um, but it is true, when we become stuck with the garbage that we insist on carrying around within us, and I say
Yes.
insist because it's fearful to let go of our victim, our poor us. Everything happens to me. It's hard to make a change.
Yeah. And I said something too, for a very long time. You know, when we are experience setbacks or challenges or things are not going our way the way we want at this moment in time, right? Um, we have this thing, and I think that maybe certain countries are better to teach us to do it than others. But I was raised that we supposed to talk, and that is fine, to a certain amount, because when I go beyond that, I can't move forward. So talking about the same thing over and over and over and over and over again, when it affects you, that's keeping you in the same loop, and that's also energy. So you can't progress. You can't, as long as you're seeing yourself a victim of the circumstances of your past,
Yes.
you can't move forward,
Yeah.
right?
When you begin the healing process and you really are sincere about becoming your authentic self, you will be able to relate things that happened as if you're telling a story about, you're an observer, and this happened to this person and this happened to this person. You're not having to relive it and take it on again. And it breaks my heart sometimes when I'm working with people and they're working so diligently and doing all of the external stuff, but they keep wanting to bring up the pain, and they keep wanting to try to fix other people.
Yeah,
You cannot change other people's opinions. All you can do is change your opinion.
yeah, exactly. And
And
it's totally fine to say, okay, I hear you, I respect your opinion, but it doesn't mean that I'm going to go by it, right? Thank you for sharing it, because
exactly.
we also need to hear a wide um, circle of ideas or opinions, right? Because they are
Yes,
just opinions, and they're based opinions. We talked about this before. They are coming from someone's experiences and their own interpretation of it, right? Doesn't
exactly.
mean that it's the truth. And I listened to something else yesterday. That was a really good video. I actually shared it. Um, how we are affected and the first years of our lives, right? Because we are so, I mean, from baby to 7 years of age.
Yeah, we're
It-
palatable.
yeah.
Yeah,
So a lot of things are put into place there. So we are taught how to behave, what to listen to create opinions of ourselves. So a human being that has strong opinions are considered a great human being. But does that mean that those opinions are the only ones that are correct? Right?
exactly.
No.
Yes, and that is absolutely that's. But when you start discerning that it's okay for other people to, because that is their truth. They believe that. They will defend that. And that's okay. But how we affect and how we take it in, it doesn't have to be a confrontation. It just has to be an observation. There's another good one. Boy,
Yeah.
I am
A
just, you
very
know,
good one.
not me, spirit. When I'm doing this podcast, this is my personality, but they're not my words. They're coming from a higher
Yeah.
place.
You
And
know, it's the same for me. So they just that's why we are going off sometimes.
exactly, because it's like, well, you need to put this point. You need to, so it's beautiful to have that kind of trust in knowing that that we are being guided when we do these. We have
Yeah.
certain opinions that we put on the paper and certain ideas, and then spirit comes in and says, "Oh, well, we're going to tweak this a little bit, or we're going to add this, or oh, by the way," and this is the beauty of being on that frequency.
Exactly. And you know, I have to tell everybody a funny story because I talk to a lot of people, and so do you, right? And I remember people. I always remember the people I talk to, but I never remember what I'm saying.
No, never.
And never, because there's a reason for that. It comes out and it goes away. And sometimes I don't really understand myself, and I tell them, but I don't need to understand. Someone needs to hear that. That's why it's coming out, right?
Exactly.
And that is how it is. Some form of, being a messenger. You can call it even a channeler, whatever. But that's how messages comes out, and it is what we do here as well, right? Isn't it? Even
Yes.
though we have a script, we never follow the script.
No, and that's beautiful because uh, it gives us an idea of where to go. And when I'm working with people, I always tell them, please remember what I'm saying because I don't read your mail. You know, it what's coming in is for you. I'm not going to go edit it and do all of this kind of stuff. But that's true. We you know we don't remember what we have said to them because it is for them. And I can be talking
Exactly.
to a group of 15 people and have the individual person come up and say, "Oh, when you said such and such," and I'm going, "Okay, that was beautiful. I wish I'd written that down because that's very, very profound, but I don't remember saying it." And they can have the same topic, and each person can hear something totally different. And
Yeah.
because that is what is being said to them. And it's just magnificent to be a part of this. It really is.
It is magnificent. It's wonderful. But it's also about how people, if we say the same thing to 50 people, we're going to have 50 interpretations. And
Exactly.
that is also energy. That is creating energy within people, right? So that's equally important. And
Yeah.
an advice for people listening: dare to believe, to trust, have faith in what you are saying. Dare to say it, because
Yes.
there's always a way. I don't mean to go and say, I think you're rude, you're an idiot, right? no, that is not the way to go. And that's not coming from spirit, because spirit doesn't talk that way. Anything that comes in a way that is negative, disruptive, not from love, that is not spirit talking.
No.
End of story, right? Because there is no one coming with the energy and giving it and telling you, or almost hitting you, this is what you should do, you have to. No, never. But trust in what you are receiving. Trust.
Trust. And that comes from loving self and finding your authenticity, because then you've taken all of everybody else's clatter out of the mix, and then the messages are coming specifically through you. um, and I love to go back to the children. I think the innocence of a child and the dependency of a child were given to us to remember that this is how we can become our true selves. And before a child can communicate, they're already connected to energy around them. They sense whether they're safe, they sense whether they're loved, they sense when there is anger in the house, and they develop certain patterns. A baby that has a lot of stomach aches will probably, if you really lived in that family for any period of time, you would hear all the turmoil that was going on. They feel that, and their body interprets it, and it expresses through them as being this wellness, or being a sickly child. And
Yeah.
it's not necessarily that everything is wrong. It's how they are interpreting it through their senses. And
Yeah.
yeah.
Because as human beings, you can see us as filters. We are filters. So we are um, continuously receiving, picking up, sensing, right?
Mhm.
Radiating. Um, and most people can actually relate to that too, because if many times, we go into a building, it feels fine. We go up the stairs, for instance, it feels fine. We enter a room and you say, oh, what happened
Uh,
here?
no way. Yeah.
No way.
And
It's like
yeah.
you can feel the difference in the energy.
Yes. And speaking of energy and frequencies, I mean, the convenience of having a microwave was great. However, microwave energy frequencies can cause death, and be used in a very damaging way. All of these 5G towers that they're putting up all over the place. Oh, well, we're going to communicate with the world. Every time they put something like that, it interferes with the frequency that we live on. It interferes with birds and insects.
Yeah,
Bees can't navigate, birds can't communicate. And we are literally destroying our ability to feel that vibration, and we have to work a little harder. Walking around barefoot in the grass,
yeah,
communicating with the energy that is so healing. Um, we have to make an effort to stay in that divine communication with all of the interference that we have.
yeah. I have a beautiful story, and I think I mentioned this before, probably maybe more than once, but anyway, I'm going to say it again. Um, Usually I don't have the animals around me because I'm going to sit somewhere inside or outside when I'm here in Greece um, by myself. But one morning, a couple of years ago, I did Reiki outside in the garden, and I had these gang of geese coming, right? I think there were five, six, seven, don't remember. And they formed a half a circle in front of me. They loved the energy.
Yes.
So, you know, observing animals too. they sense. There are a lot of times when animals, they go to someone, but they hesitate to approach someone else. It's the
Yes.
energy.
And I have this wonderful, I call her my healing, four-legged healer. And when I'm working with someone, and I always ask if a person is comfortable around a big dog, because some people have a fear. But she is so gentle. But if they're really struggling with an issue, she'll just go up and she just lays her chin right on their leg and just looks up them with these loving eyes, because she is helping them move through that energy. And she actually absorbs the energy and then she dissipates it. She loses it. And the beauty about Reiki is that little children and animals, they don't have a prejudice. And I use the word because uh, adults will, well, does this work? Where does it come from? What are they doing? And all of this are running through an adult's head, where a child just, oh, give it to me. And I had an incident one time where a friend invited me over and had warned me that she had a small Great Dane. Now, for a 5'2" person, a small Great Dane means that the Great Dane came up to here on me instead of up to here. And she was friendly enough, but she was just a one-person dog. Well, my friend went in to get the dog's food, and Angel, her name, comes over, and I'm sitting on the couch, and she squishes her body between my legs and snuggles up to me, backs into me. And then I
Oh,
know she wants me to touch her. So I start touching her shoulders and everywhere. And every place that I get to a point that is causing her pain, this face, and I'm telling you, that face was this big. It turns around and looks at me and gives me an and when her my friend comes back out and sees this, she was aghast, because she said, that dog never goes towards anybody. And literally, Angel blocked the doorway when I was getting ready to leave, because she didn't want me to leave, because they feel the energy, and
yeah.
they don't judge it. They know that
No.
it's healing, and give me.
Yeah, and I had a beautiful recent story too. I was visiting some friends, and they have a son, 7 year old, autistic. Not very, very heavily, but anyway, he has some uh, issues, right? So I never push myself onto someone, and we were sitting talking, and I think I'd been there for an hour or something, or an hour and a half. And he came and he decided to sit in my lap,
Yes,
kiss me on the cheeks. And the mother and father said, but he never does that. Never. Doesn't
exactly,
happen.
exactly. Because frequency will is a communication that is divinely guided, and it is not something that is forced. You either have it or you don't have it. You can allow yourself to develop it. We all can. But some people block it with all of their ideas and so forth. But especially autistic and children that have physical and emotional challenges will be drawn to someone that does energy, because they sense that that's a place of healing. And and that's the beauty of this. And especially, I'm just going to put a little blurb in here for Reiki. Reiki comes from divine source. It's not mine. I don't have to generate it. I just have to facilitate it. And it's beautiful, because people are drawn to it. And people are drawn to me because they feel the energy. They feel safe. They feel connected. And wouldn't it be wonderful if we all are walking around completely intact, energetically communicating with the others out there?
that would be a bliss. And we can, even though we may think at this point, talking now generally, right, that we cannot. You and I don't believe that because we know differently, right? We have
Yes.
intentionally walked this path to discover more and peel the onion, dig within,
Oh
grow.
yeah.
But if you think that everything is only logical, no, it's not. And think about that. I said before, um, all people can sense when someone is looking at them, or they can feel that there's someone else here. I'm not alone. And they turn around and they see there are other people there, maybe one or two or more, right? Because
Mhm.
we feel the energies. And talking about the aura as well, our aura, due to challenges, diseases, other things that may need healing, right, can have some holes and have maybe not being that strong. A strong aura can go outside a long way, meters even, right? And sometimes people are, um, they may feel threatened by someone with a strong aura because they sense the energy, but that comes from fear, right? It's not that that person is bad or anything, but it's that person is radiating. When you have a strong aura, there are no holes in your aura. It's intact. You have balance within all, chakras and everything of that nature. It's beautiful. And that can be felt even stronger. The word I was looking for, some people are intimidated by those with a strong aura as well.
That's the word. Yes. Yes.
Why?
Because they don't understand it. They're getting a twinging feeling, and they don't know where it's coming from. And uh, the analytic mind always wants to have a direct answer. It can't just go, "Whoa, this is cool." And it was interesting that you brought up the ability to project the aura. I had no idea. I mean, I've been learning about myself. I had no idea that my aura actually goes out almost probably 40, 50 feet. And
Wow.
I wasn't aware of that. And but I would have reactions to people. And when I actually was studying it and had become aware of how energy works, I thought, well, I'm going to try this out. You know me, I've got to go and try it out. You know, and I went to a dance that was specifically for single people at the time, and I was meeting my friend there, and I saw her sitting at the table. So I walked in, and there were a lot of men standing around the dance floor, not around the walls, but around the dance floor. Now, at a single dance, those guys are kind of going, "Oh yeah, that one, yeah," and checking out the herd to see who they want to dance with. I walked up and I was going to go over to my friend. And I am not kidding you. They parted like the great sea.
Oh,
As I came, they turned and looked at me and then just kind of and I walked and I go, "Well, this is cool." I wasn't doing anything. I was just being me. So I went and I sat down and I'm still grinning when I'm talking to my friend. And this guy comes up and he says, "Could he dance?" And usually at those things, they're going to hold you as tight as they can, you know.
yes, yeah.
And there is this much distance between him and I, and we're dancing. And all of a sudden, he says, "Do you know that you're a very powerful person?" And I said, uh, "No." I said, "But does that bother you?" And he goes, "No." But he never asked me to dance again. So
He could
it's
feel your
true.
aura. Yes.
It's
Yeah.
true. They become intimidated, and I going, well, that's probably why they're drawn to me, but they don't come to me. And I never understood that because, I don't go around ranting and raving and acting crazy or anything. I just, but it was a very good experiment of the fact that, and I just sat there smiling the whole evening because I was observing, and but it is
Mm.
true.
But it is true. And a lot of times things come as a package, you could say, right? So
Mhm.
with someone with a strong aura, people can also be intimidated and feel that you as a person can see right through them. And that can feel uncomfortable, right? So
Yes.
someone like me working on a phone line, psychic phone line, right? When I say what I do, um, some people, not everybody, but I can see they turn into question marks. And
And
they
they start
start
going,
to think, okay,
ah,
now she's undressing me. I mean, with
yeah,
thoughts and everything, but it doesn't function like that, and no
no,
one with integrity on this path would ever do that. Not forcing anything onto someone else, right? And plus something else I want to say. Everybody can a nice way to try energy. Sit
yep,
calmly
right
and
here.
feel it. Yeah, right here.
That's right.
Feel it. Yeah,
And then you can play with it. Yeah.
yeah,
Then what I do is I have my students, like it's a ball, and I have my students pass it from one to the
yeah,
other. Yeah.
yeah.
Oh yeah. I literally am like a child in this wonderful land of amazing things, and each time I experience something and am able to incorporate it, uh, I feel like, oh, I got a gold star for that one. I got a gold star for this one. It's beautiful. But energy is the gift that we give when we genuinely show empathy. People feel it. That's why empathy is so much more powerful than sympathy. Sympathy is just addressing the fact that something's happened, and empathy is allowing our energy to be available for that person to use as they need it.
Exactly. And that comes also with, and we talked about this. We just assume things and we think that I know what this person needs, so I'm going to bring it to that person
Yep,
instead of asking, I can help you. What do you need me to help you with? What do
exactly.
you need?
What do you need? It's always what, how may I be of service? What is it that is going to give you comfort? If it's something I can do, I'm willing to do it. And and that comes when you realize that ego is not the motivation. Love is the motivation. Because you're not doing it because you're better or you can have a better solution. It is because I'm here to help you, humanity.
Yeah, exactly. Because we cannot really know exactly what someone else needs. And
Never.
even if we are sensitive and psychics and whatever, channeling and all of that, doesn't mean that we either, because to be honest, in my daily life, I really suck. I'm using a funny word here at, at trying to understand what someone needs when they try to tell me. So I just say to them, just be to the point. Just say what you want. Don't
Yeah.
talk around for 50 minutes because I'm going to stop listening, right? Come to it.
Yes.
Express it.
Yes. And my approach to that is especially because I work a lot with people in person, and I will explain to them, I don't want you to tell me anything about you. I don't want any ideas being formed, because I am human, and I might form an idea. I said, I just want to listen to what your body is trying to say. And I didn't know that that was rare among healers until I was talking to someone, and they said, you really are a healer because you're not trying to impose your will on someone else. And I said, no. I said, I want to have the clearest channel I can have with what their energy is telling me, and I don't want it distorted with words. You know, so
That is rare and that is beautiful. It is fantastic, to be honest with you, because even as a sensitive being, I think you're right. It's very easy when people talk too much. You can learn to detach from that
yeah,
and still just go with the flow. Because I don't like either. And people ask me many times too, and they say, do you want me to tell you something? No, you don't need to do that. It's not going to disturb me if you do, but I don't need it.
yeah.
But if you have a specific question for something, that's going to bring us probably a better, more in-depth answer. That's different, right?
hmm it is, and there again, when when you finally realize that your freedom comes from knowing yourself, and ego is something that you're taught. It's ideas that you're being taught about yourself. It's not necessarily what you really feel. And then you go, well, it's not serving me anymore. Now that doesn't mean that a person like you and I just lay down and take whatever comes at us. That's not what being a spiritual intuitive person is. We we just do not respond from our need to be right. And
Exactly.
yeah,
Exactly. And that also comes with that part I mentioned before, and you said that whatever we are saying, we don't necessarily do understand it, but that is the message. And
exactly.
for the right person, that's going to go straight to the point, right?
Yes, yes. I remember one time after meditation, uh, a lot of times information will come in, and I will start just speaking because it's the universe wants to get this message out. And I had maybe 10 people in here after the meditation, and this one person all of a sudden starts crying, and she said you were talking directly to me. And I'm going, I mean, that's beautiful, but it wasn't like I singled her out. I'm talking to 10 people, but the message was so to her, and it was like you and I were talking face to face. And I'm always in such awe with how spirit uh, really gets the point across when you just allow it.
Yeah, yeah. And it can come things that if we would use our human mind, we would say, "Oh, that's crazy." But I'm not going to say that. But because we have experience also,
Yes,
we know that that's going to have a something. It's going to be of significance for someone, person
yes,
asking, for instance, right?
yes. I've often said that if someone like myself was talking to my younger self, I probably would have gone, I'm not going to deal with that person, because I'm going. I would have scared the daylights out of myself in my 20s if I came up and started talking like I'm talking now, and and doing this. Is that what I'm going to turn into? This is going to be so. This is the beauty. But when you gradually become your authentic self, it comes in little bits and pieces. It doesn't just all of a sudden wham, and now you're doing all of this interesting stuff.
Yeah.
It's
But
evolves over
but
time.
it evolves over time, but the more you progress and the deeper you dig, the more you walk on this path, the easier actually it gets.
Yes,
So
it
in the
does.
beginning, many things can feel like challenges because they are new, you are mending, you heal, you haven't experienced many of these things before. For instance, when you want to change and you invite chaos and you sit there and you say, what happens? Right? And I've done that a few times. For instance, I used to fight Mercury retrograde,
Oh
that
yeah.
energy. Uh, I'm a Gemini, so that is my planet. First of all, so of course I'm going to be sensitive to the energy. Maybe I'm more sensitive. And it's like fighting where you can't win, right? But every energy, every single energy has some qualities, no matter if we perceive them as challenging or negative or whatever it is. There's always another side to it too, polarity, a positive side, so we can use that energy to our advantage instead of fighting it, because that's not useful.
Yeah. I mean, kind of moving a little bit further into how it works within your life. I'm sure there's every single person that's listening has had a chance where they've had something they've had to do, and let's say they're in a car and they have to go somewhere, and then something happens and they're uh, detoured to have to go a different direction. Now,
Mm.
they may not understand that detour, that inconvenience, that pause in time, actually, there again, now we're going to be going into the Celestine prophecies, actually gave them an opportunity to prevent something that was going to happen if they had gone that familiar way. And
Exactly.
that's energy. And we all are in tune to it if we open up our receptors. It's when we resist it and we say, well, I'm going to do this because, that's the way I've always done it. And you miss out on so many beautiful things. Um, and then if it turns out that where you went and you're driving all these different places like I did on Monday, it's like, well, whatever was there is something that I shouldn't have been in that situation, so it took me away from it. And
Yeah.
instead of fighting it, and this is where sometimes our tenacity and our stubbornness
Yeah.
in just having the smarts to accept that there's a little detour instead of knocking against it.
Yeah.
That's where having that balance in our life, saying, okay, it's not going the way that I had imagined it, but maybe there is something better, rather than, oh my gosh, what is this going to do, and oh, this is terrible, and going into that frame of mind. And
Yeah. And usually um we think about something energetically, we want to manifest something, or we are seeing a goal over there straight. Our perception is straightforward, right? But
yep,
that's usually not going to happen that way. We
not at
are going
all.
to take a sideway here, we are going to take a sideway there, we're going to go around a little bit. But there are so many beautiful blessings on those sideways and walking around, or there's always a purpose for it, always.
Yeah, it's sometimes when I'm trying to explain this to people, if you have a broken wagon and you take it, you know, to source, to God, to your father, whatever, and you say, fix my wagon. And then he starts fixing it. And you say, oh, but you have to do it this way. And you have to put this wheel over here. Maybe instead of that little red wagon, he is creating this beautiful carriage for you that's gold and diamonds and everything else. But you are insisting that he make the same little wagon that you have. And understanding energy is going to expand. It always wants to expand. It wants to give you more. So why say, nope, you got to do it just the way I want it, and that little red wagon better come looking back like that rather than this beautiful carriage. So get out of your own way and allow this beautiful energy.
Yes.
Allow yourself to be acceptant that there are things that are going to be so much better, and it may be a little chaotic, a little bumpy, but if you just allow the process to be, um, it's going to be amazing.
Exactly. And I think that many think that, okay, if I encounter bumpiness on the road, on the path forward, that means it's the wrong path. No, it doesn't necessarily mean that,
No,
right?
it just
No.
means that that's an interesting bump you got to go around, you know.
I remember many, many, many years ago, maybe 20, 25, 30 years ago, I went to a medium and she said to me, don't hold on to the edges, just go with the flow. And I was thinking after, why didn't I really ask her what she meant? I didn't understand that because
Yeah,
the flow is also energy. And like everything else, because energy, even though I said moving around home in corners and stuff, yeah, it can be a little bit stagnant once in a while, but usually energy moves around, right? It can
yes,
be slower, more dense, it can go faster, putting on more progress and things, right? So when we
yeah,
are in that flow, it means that dare to follow because we need to expand ourselves to find something new. We can't keep on um, stirring around the same energy because we are going to sit in the same place. But most
exactly.
people have this wanting and urge and wishing. I want something better. I want to change. Doesn't always need to be something huge, but baby steps also. Just do something differently. But when you do something differently, please do not freak out when energies are stirred around. That is a blessing
Hmm.
actually, because that shows that whatever you're doing are setting the energies in motion.
Yes, it's that old saying that a crazy person is someone that keeps doing the same thing and expecting different results. And you have to change what you're expecting and everything else. And when you were talking about energy moving, I mean, this looks solid, doesn't it? I mean, that's pretty solid. And yet, if I had could make my hand the same frequency as this, I'd be able to put my hand straight through it. But it's
Yes.
vibrating at this frequency and I'm vibrating at this frequency, so it's not going to work. But everything is in motion. Everything, the computer that we have, it's in motion. The table that it's sitting on is in motion. And we get stagnant in our thinking that everything is solid and going with the flow.
It's like the computer terminology. What you see is what you get, right? But that
Yeah.
is not really true. It's true for the computer, but it's not true in our reality because everything is energy. And yes, nothing is solid, but we perceive it as solid, right?
Yes. And that's the beauty of being this beautiful potential human, is that we are adaptable, we are flexible, and we are We are moving, and the computer is created to follow an instruction. And it may do
Exactly.
amazing things, but it cannot replace our ability to resolve things and come to this energetic conclusion. Because once it's programmed, and it can get better and better at its programming, and it can listen to us, and it can change words. And interestingly enough, I'm looking at what I had sent you, and I use Dragon Speak, where I speak into it. And it's pretty much been able to pick up how I say words and how I pronounce words. But I'm looking at this and I'm going, I never said also beer ever. And it's written here. So whatever I was saying in this sentence, the computer picked it up that I was saying BEER instead of the word that I was trying to say. And this is the beauty about being human. When we are energetic and when we listen to that energetic information,
Yes. Yeah.
we are getting the true essence of it. We're not getting an interpretation of something mechanical.
Exactly. And we are, that is one of our divine gifts, right? Because we are sensitives, right? We pick that up. I have a big mouth sometimes. I love technique and computers and everything of that nature, but I want to use it. And you know, you could basically call, I'm sorry, um, you could basically call a computer stupid because it needs to be programmed. Otherwise, it can't
Yes.
do any tasks, right?
Well, now they're saying they're making computers be able to think. Well, thinking is not human.
No.
We feel, we use energy. We don't we don't have something plugged into us that gives us the energy other than source, but it is palatable and it is not fixed. And it's just living in this beautiful world and being aware that we are energetic beings. We are not humans. This is just the form that we have to be able to be on earth. We are energetic spiritual beings having a physical experience. And this is this is awesome. I get giddy when I talk about it.
It is awesome. It is fantastic. But just be bold, dare, have faith, trust in what you're getting. And sometimes we can receive messages in bits. It's not going to come like a whole long message, but that's fine too. Take a notebook, keep a notebook and write down. You don't need to write a novel for each day, right? Just
No.
write down significant things that are happening. When something occurs, lift your eyes a little bit and see what else is going on at the same time. Does someone say something? Did I think something? What else happened? That's going to bring to the message, right?
Yes. It's called interaction.
Yes.
And it's that's a beautiful thing. And uh, as I progress further into this amazing experience that I'm having, uh, I am always in awe. It's always, I look at something and it's wonderful. And I see it through that innocence of a child as something miraculous rather than, oh, well, that's how that works. Oh, and putting that enthusiasm into my daily living uh, just puts so much joy and lots of laughter. I'm always laughing. I mean, it's really funny, the things that we do and things that we say and the predicaments that we get ourselves into. but it's always so rewarding to kind of figure it out.
It is. And each and every day there's always something to laugh about. I was laughing this afternoon because a rooster came and tried to steal the cat food. That's so funny, right? So I
Yeah.
had to chase the rooster away for the cats to be able to eat.
Yes, but you saw it. You
Yes,
observed it. Even with everything that you do and the busy life that you have, you took the moment to be in the
yeah,
now and experience that. And
yeah,
this is something that is so critical of enjoying each moment, because our life is not made up of a life. It's just made up of little segments of moments
yes.
that are, ah you know
And funny things happen, Um, every day is rich with moments. It's
uh-huh.
filled from
It is.
morning to the time we go to bed. It's
Exactly.
what we do with it. And just being there, being present, doing things.
I mean, even the stuff that a person would judge, oh well, that was terrible, that was bad. If you have the attitude, well, that was very interesting, I don't think I'm going to do that again. However, I did it, and you, I mean, you can even just be glad that it's over. And it's in how we observe the world around us, how
Yeah,
we, what energy we put out that comes back to us.
yeah,
And that's the beauty, because there again, it's still fluid, it's in motion, it is chaos that is in creation. And
yeah.
so it's, yeah, I'm very blessed to be here at this time.
You are, and so am I. And I'm blessed to be here with you.
Oh, you, I say this with all sincerity. Um, you were the spark that said to my soul, it's not over. There is so much more that we want you to accomplish. And I was at the point where, okay, I'm take it easy and everything else. And then you pop into my life, and now my world is just full of creative chaos. And it's okay, I've got this, and oh well, we'll do this, and how about, and it's just, it's just like coming alive again. Thank you.
Yeah. And thank you too. And you keep me alive, creative.
Well, I keep poking you, don't I?
You do. And just being here, doing things, and even for us sometimes, maybe when we start in the morning, the program we have been figuring out we're supposed to do, that's not going, it's going to be somewhere, it's going to come to a place where it's um failure, or it's not failure, wrong word, but it's going to crash,
Uh-huh.
and something else is going to present itself, right? But
Yes.
if we are fixed in our mindset, and it's harder for us to see things from different perspectives, right?
Mhm.
So when we are finding ourselves in a situation, it may not feel very pleasant all the time, but okay, this is what it looks like right now. Am I going to fight it? When I fight something, that means that I'm going to sit there for a longer period of time. And I learned this by my own stubborn experience, right? And I'm a spiritual warrior, so of course I've been giving my all to certain things, right? But it's actually no use. This is how it looks right now. So how am I going to respond to that? Because that is my choice. That is my power.
Yes.
It's my 100% authentic power.
And that's the beauty of it. And I hope everybody that's listening, that there are words that you have picked up that were meant specifically for you. And we bless everyone that has taken the time. And I know each time that I come and am able to express things that I have been thinking about or things that I have been given to me. Um, I'm hoping that there's just a little bit of glimmer of something out there for everybody.
I hope that too. And I think we are ready to wrap this up, right?
I do too. Wrap.
So I'm just finishing up here, and then you can close us down with a beautiful sound you had if you want to.
Okay.
And I want to thank everybody. You have been watching Cosmic Sisters with Corinne and Anne. Today we have been talking about vibrations within, unveiling the impact of energy, vibration, frequencies, right? You can find our past episodes and upcoming at angelplaceonearth.com/upcoming dash past. Our next upcoming show here with Cosmic Sisters and Corinne and myself is next Wednesday, April 23rd. We will talk about resilience in the face of adversity, navigating trauma and tough times. That's interesting too. How do we do that?
Yes.
Right? There's always a solution to everything. So we do go live for you every Wednesday with Cosmic Sister Show, and you can connect with us, find upcoming shows, past episodes, read articles, Corinne's beautiful poems, find more um, connecting points to Corinne, her phone number, her website, and stuff of that nature. You go to angelplaceonearth.com/cosmic guardians. And I say thank you for watching us and see you soon. Love, light, peace, and joy to everybody.
And love, light,
What do
peace,
you say?
and always laughter. So I'm going to gong us out here. Okay?
Okay.